Okay, so welcome back. So now what we're going to do in this example is we're going to plot a polar curve. And what we're going to do is we're using this function. So it says r is a function of theta, and that r is equal to 4 times sine theta. Now the first thing you notice is that this is a multiple of sine. Sine is a periodic function with a period of 2 pi, which means it repeats the pattern every 2 pi. Okay, so that means we're going to take this from 0 to 2 pi to see what the pattern looks like. Okay, so basically we're going to go one revolution around the circle. Okay, now also realize that as theta changes, right, then this is also going to be changing, which means 4 times this is going to be changing. So r is going to be getting longer and shorter. It's going to be going between what? The radius is going to be will be as big as, remember, what's the largest that sine will be? 1. What's the smallest that sine will be? -1. Okay? And it'll be 0. So you're saying this is the radius is gonna go between, it's gonna fluctuate between 4 and -4, but it's gonna go through 0. So the radius is what's gonna be changing as you go from 0 to 2 pi. So that's gonna give us an interesting sort of picture, I think. So let's see what happens. So let's fill in the table. Again, I'm gonna do this, but you should make sure you practice doing this yourself. Plug in each one of these values in for theta and take the sine of that. These are the most common ones. Some of these you're going to know, or you should know, using the right triangles. The common, 60, 30, 90 and the 45, 45, 90 triangles. Some of these you're going to have to, again, there'll be some square roots in there that you're going to have to put in your calculator, okay? But most of these you should be able to just know. Okay, so I'm going to fill these in. And then you'll see a cyclic pattern here very soon. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so now that we have the table filled out, now it's just a matter of plotting the points. Okay? And if we plot the points, what do we get? So first of all, let's draw the circle here. Oops. Let's try this again. Okay, so there's our circle, our radius. And, well, how do we want to do this? How should I do this? How do they want us to do this? Hold. Yeah. Well, maybe this isn't the best way to do it. Let's do. It's going to be difficult doing this freehand. Okay, let's do this. That's not going to work. Okay. Okay, so this is going to go, let me just do this like this. Because we got our points, so let's do this one. Okay, so here's what we got. So when theta is 0, r is 0. So we're starting right here. And then what happens is at what, 30 degrees, it becomes 2. So at 30 degrees, we're at 2. Let's say about right here. Now these I'm not going to plot, but I can plot this one. So at pi over 2 at 90 degrees, it's 4. So it goes to here. And then at 5 pi over 6, which is 30 degrees over here, it's like here. Or 2, I'm sorry, wrong one. So it's like right about here. And then it goes, at pi, it's 0, so it goes right back there. So what do we have here? Now, again, if I plot more of these points, for example, we're going to have something that looks like this. So then it looks like that. Okay, so it goes, so from 0 to pi, it goes like this. So again, right? So from 0 to pi, it goes like this. And then from pi to 2 pi, it goes around the same circle. So it's going around, it's tracing the curve twice, going from 0 to 2 pi, okay? So that's important. That's important to realize, okay? So it is the graph of a circle. Now, we can graph this, right? We can convert this to rectangular coordinates. Okay? Now, how do we convert this to rectangular coordinates? Okay, so this is where we have to kind of think about this. And again, if you don't know this, this is where you have to kind of put your learn, right? So you have to kind of watch what I do. Because some of you may not see how to do this. Okay, so you could be asked to write this in rectangular form. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so first of all, and again, this is the part you may not see, is I'm going to write, I'm going to multiply both sides by r. So if I multiply both sides by r, I get r squared equals 4r sine theta. Okay, so now why would I do that? Well, what happens with 4r sine theta? Well, what is r sine theta? That's y. What is r squared? Well, that's just x squared plus y squared. So what does our equation become? It becomes x squared plus y squared equals 4 times y. So now, we're not done. Okay? Now we want to put it in standard form. Okay? So how do we put this in standard form? Well, we've got to have it in some form of, so it's a circle, right? We want to put it in standard form of a circle, or what we call the general form of a circle, or center radius form of a circle, if you want to put it in that way. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay? Now again, it may have been a while since you guys have done this, but in college algebra, when you studied circles, one of the things you do is you have to complete the square. Here we don't have to do anything to do with this because this is just x plus 0, right? So remember, center radius form of a circle, or standard form of a circle, is always, let me put it up here. Well, let me put it up here. It's x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So in order to do that, well, this side's okay. This is like, you could write this as x minus 0 y squared. But this here, we need to put it in this form. So we're going to have to complete the square here. Well, if we complete the square, we divide this by 2 and square it. So we're going to get 4. So we've got to have y squared minus 4y, and we have to add 4 to get a perfect square. Well, that means we have to add 4 to the right side of the equal sign. Okay, remember, whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And so now this becomes what? X squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals 4. And now we know now we've got the equation of a circle. We've got the equation of a circle that has its radius at what? 0, 2. Look at that. 0, 2. There's the center right there. And what's the radius? The radius is 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. So it works. Okay? So this is in rectangular coordinates, where this is using polar. Okay? Okay. Okay, next time we'll see about doing another example. See you then.